This is the current topic that we all hear and read, both in the media as well as in the newspaper. Food Security Act, as you're all aware, is once again coming up for finalization in the cabinet on Sunday. And probably, once it gets introduced in the parliament, it becomes a law. It will be a real challenge for all of us to see that the purpose is served and the money, taxpayers' money, which goes as subsidy under this program, is not diverted or the leakages are also avoided. So PDS and its problems are not new to us. It's very well known what are the problems. A lot of studies have been done, both internally within the country and from outside organizations. So basically, three major issues, which have been highlighted in all the reports. And those issues are collusion and lack of transparency. And the third thing is lack of beneficiary empowerment. And for these three reasons, there are ongoing, continuing leakages from the system. It is not that the system is working without any kind of vigilance mechanism, but the reasons for poor vigilance standards in the system are basically the moral hazards. That means the person who is supposed to supervise and carry out the vigilance, he probably has more temptation for private gains than the public good. So in this presentation, I'll showcase as to how we have gone ahead and implemented the project. But what was the core idea behind it? How we first cracked the basic flaws of the system. So we say that nobody can actually provide a foolproof vigilance to this system. Any number of inspectors that you deploy for this public distribution system cannot solve this problem. So then who could be the best vigilance person for effective functioning of this system? Anybody in this audience? Absolutely. The citizen, the beneficiary, can be the best vigilance mechanism for effective functioning of the system. So the entire design that we have done in this reform is all about empowering the beneficiary. And how do we do it? We'll show it to you very soon. Then I'll just highlight a couple of things which were so important, because it is not only the design but also its execution and implementation. So why those are very important conditions? For example, change management. We all talk about change management whenever we implement a project. But tell me very honestly, how many of us can change ourselves when we are talking about change management? Then what should be done? So the philosophy that we have applied in this project implementation is that we should create conditions which induce desired changes. Because it's so difficult to change oneself, it is nearly impossible to change others. And the second thing that we did was, we created a matrix of risk and reward parameters for the stakeholders. So to induce desired behavior, we kept on manipulating that matrix of risk and reward. And the third factor was, how do you implement a very, very sensitive project like public distribution system, where a very senior functionary from some other state told me that if you cancel one ration card, some MLA, some MP or some minister will telephone you, how dare you have cancelled it. So the bottom line is, for such a sensitive project, where every single functionary, especially in the public space, and the non-executives, the political functionaries, will be after you, after every functionary of the public distribution system, that you can't cancel even a single ration card. Then what reform we are talking about? So the necessary condition in this case was a very, very strong political will to reform. We'll talk about it later, how we did it. Then the fifth point, important parameter that we kept in mind was transparency. So we say that transparency is the best antibiotics, but transparency alone is not enough. There has to be a lokpal, so accountability. So accountability is prophylactic, and any reform process of TPDS should give boost to these attributes. That means it should work both as antibiotics as well as prophylactic by ensuring accountability. Then couple of more small points, but very important points. Support of the most vulnerable stakeholder has been the best insurance for successful implementation of this project. And we all know in TPDS who is the most vulnerable stakeholder? The beneficiary himself. If he gets food grain, his food security is partly or fully assured. But if he doesn't get the delivery of food grains, then he is the most affected stakeholder of the entire public distribution system. So his support is must. If he supports the project, if he supports the reform process, then we succeed. Another important factor that we kept in mind was the leadership of the reform process has to be rooted in the ownership. I cannot outsource or rent it out. I can pay any amount of money. I can outsource this entire reform process. But ownership cannot be and should not be outsourced. Then lastly, we found that commitment for reform is more precious than any amount of funds allocated for implementing the reforms. Commitment means across the board, at all levels, commitment should be there. And reform has to be a team effort. It is not one person's baby or two person's baby. Team may be large, but there should be a very strong core group constituting the team which can see these reforms through. So with these initial remarks, now I'll run through how exactly we went about the reform process. So we have 26 districts, more than 1 crore cardholders. Annually, we are distributing something like 16 lakh million tons of food grains. So the problems that once again I highlight over here, the exclusion and inclusion errors. That means the poor, who should be actually in the BPL list have been left out, and those who should have not been in the list have been included. Then bogus cards. That means people without any identity have entered into the system, and in their name the food grain is being lifted and distributed probably to the black market. Poor oversight, monopoly of FPS dealers, lack of transparency and accountability, is all corruption that we talk about it and find in the system. So what has been our vision for the PDS reform process? So we banked upon empowerment of the beneficiary, bringing about transparency in the public distribution system, and to some extent innovation in certain spaces. So the objectives have been identification of beneficiary, as well as the elimination of bogus and duplicate cards, classification, minimizing the classification errors. That means the poor people should actually be classified as BPL and non-poor as APL. And most important, ensuring the delivery. That means delivery to the person for whom the food grain has actually been provided by the government. At FPS level, we are doing transaction capturing, we are updating the record, we are improving the efficiency of the logistics, accountability at all levels, and transparency across the supply and delivery chain. So to explain the things in a very, very quicker way, I will give you a pictorial demo as to how this entire system has been implemented. So what we did was, this is a running system. So obviously, you can't stop it and you can start a new system from the next day. It's not possible. So we said we have got some number of ration card holders, and part of them may be bogus, duplicate. So how do we actually, eliminate from the system? So what we did was we actually carried out a house-to-house survey, got a new form prescribed, and that form was filled up by sending an enumerator from house to house. Then digitization of the data that we received from the beneficiaries. Then we captured the photograph and biometric of at least one adult member of the beneficiary family and distributed the cards to the cardholder. So this is the back-end process. You don't see it on the front end. But what is happening on the front end, that is explained in the ensuing slides. So here is a beneficiary with a card, and this is a barcoded card. That means you need to read only the barcode, no physical entry of numbers or text. This is how the barcode looks like. As my predecessor explained to you, that Government of Gujarat took a very important initiative of providing connectivity to all the village panchayats by setting up e-gram. So e-gram operator is there, computer, printer, connectivity, everything is in place. So this beneficiary goes to the e-gram, and the operator is reading the ration card, the barcode on the ration card with the help of the barcode reader. As you can see, the beneficiary is now putting his thumb on the fingerprint reader. And after the online verification, a coupon is printed out and handed over to the beneficiary. This is how the coupon looks like. This coupon contains the entire detail of the commodities which this beneficiary is entitled. For example, wheat, rice, kerosene, sugar, and so on. Also, the quantity, the price, the month for which it is to be provided, and the dealer, the FPS dealer from where this commodity is to be obtained. Now this beneficiary goes to a typical fair price shop. This is how it looks like. He goes there with his ration card as well as the coupon. He tears away the part of the coupon, commodity coupon, which he intends to buy from that fair price shop. Hands over the money as written on that coupon, obtains that commodity from the shopkeeper and gets back. Now what happens subsequently? Because this coupon has now been submitted to the shopkeeper. So shopkeeper now after some time gets back to the e-gram with those bundles of commodity coupons which he has collected from the beneficiary. The same e-gram is now reading those coupons. These are sale transactions. That means actually the sale of those commodity has been made by the shopkeeper to individual beneficiaries. Now what happens? Whatever sale has been made during that month is recorded in our system. So the permit for the commodities for lifting from the go down for the subsequent month is automated. That means this fair price shop dealer need not visit my block office or supply office to obtain his permits, because already what he sold has been captured in the system by reading that individual bar-coded coupon slips. He puts his biometric once again, the shopkeeper this time, and he gets the monthly permit for the subsequent month, which is based upon the actual sales that he has made during the previous month. When he goes with that permit to the civil supply go down, there, the moment he lifts the stock, that means he takes the delivery, the SMS alert is sent to some of the beneficiaries having mobile in his area. So I talked about transparency. So this is how the entire supply chain, right from the go down to the FPS to the beneficiary, is being captured at all transaction moments, and it is being transparently shown to the beneficiary. This is how this entire system works. This is the flowchart diagram. So let me just go back and tell you what we have achieved out of this process. So this is how our solution matrix looks like. Identity we have solved by taking the elector's photo identity card number and biometric data of at least one member of the beneficiary family. Classification error, how did we address that? By converging the beneficiary socio-economic database, which includes his BPL number, his electricity connection number, his LPG number, landholding status. Delivery, the biggest problem that we have in PDS system. So by way of food coupon, record keeping, because we are capturing the transaction data with the help of coupons, so we are maintaining centralized records. Logistics efficiency. So we exactly know how much food grain has been sold by a shopkeeper, and the group of our collectives of such shopkeepers in a block. So exactly how much food grain should be provided to the civil supply go down of that block, we know. So therefore it improves and helps in bettering our logistics efficiency. Transparency, as you saw, SMS alerts and data will be also shown on the website. Accountability. At each level, whether it is issuing of the ration card or issuing of the permits or issuing of the coupons, everything is biometric based. So accountability at all level is assured. Nobody can force somebody else's signature or force the permits. Stakeholders participation, as I talked about it. In fact, you can question me that why should somebody agree to take the coupon, go to a e-gram, and then go to the shop? Why should shopkeeper should come and do the same thing? So we have built into the entire system design certain risks and rewards. And I can tell you, as you can see from the results, strategy I already talked about. So what we have achieved so far, we have digitized more than 90 lakh application forms we received from the beneficiaries. We have issued 1.5 lakh bar-coded ration cards after obtaining the fingerprints. Currently, more than 150 shops are running exactly the way which I showed you in the pictorial demo. And another 40 shops are ready for switching over to biometric-based bar-coded coupon system. And on a month-to-month basis, 34,000 beneficiaries are actually using the coupon the way I showed to all of you. Now, what benefits have been accrued to us? We have reduced the number of cardholders by 14 lakh as on 1st January 2011. I told you in the beginning that cancelling one ration card is a tough task, and we cancelled 14 lakh cards in one stroke because of political will to reform. Number of people, came and visited some of these pilot sites. They interacted with the beneficiaries, and the constant questioning was, why should you come and collect your coupon? And universally the answer given by beneficiary was that we don't mind waiting for the coupon because we are now able to claim our entitlements. And this project, the pilot sites have been visited by Government of India, by World Food Programme, by the Vigilance Commissioner of Supreme Court. Now, based on the digitization of the ration card database, we have started issuing the online permits to the FPS dealers across the state. This month, we could deliver online permits to 12,000 dealers out of 16,000 dealers that we have. And the benefit has been the entire chain of issuing of the permit and lifting of food grain from the civil supply go down, that has got expedited. But there are certain challenges also. For example, we are taking biometric, but we are also insisting that every member of the beneficiary family, if they have a election card, So we have to match their data with the election database. Then we also have a challenge of capturing biometric and photographic details of at least one member, because we have got 1 crore ration card holders. So imagine, you have got 26 districts. I am sure, many of you who are doing UID work, they find how challenging this entire process is. Then some of the other challenges which have come to our notice, for example, availability of e-gram in a very close vicinity of the habitation. So e-grams are a commission which he was getting usually. In addition, he will get additional minimum 50 paisa per commodity coupon, either from the government or from the beneficiary. So that is how we are trying to improve his viability, because we have cut down on his theft and leakages. Then of course, our staff is not very happy with these reforms, and because they have been adversely affected. So what is our roadmap? Roadmap is we will complete primary data entry of the application forms by this month end. Then we are focusing on the identity verification, especially that of the existing BPL and Antyodaya category of beneficiaries. Then we want to complete, or we hope to complete issuing barcoded ration cards in all 16,000 FPS areas by June 2012. And as we complete issuing the barcoded ration cards for each FPS area, we will introduce the biometric-based barcoded system. Then we are also integrating in our ration card database the domestic LPG connection, BPL list of Rural Development Department, electricity connection number, farmers database. And hopefully, if this thing succeeds, we may go for nutrition coupons for under ICDS and MDM schemes. Thank you so much.